Shalom, Shanita here. Yeah. Hello? Hello? I don't know what's wrong with this.
Hey, Shanita, you're in the class. Hold on.
Oh, I'm here. Okay, great.
It hasn't started yet.
Oh, okay, because I couldn't get on. It was keep booting me off. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, that's why I suggested try 15 minutes ahead of time.
I did. Ever since I spoke to you,
Yeah,
but I got it through.
you sure did. So, yeah, Tiffany will be along in a minute, guys, so just be patient. She got little children.
Okay.
So I'm going to just put myself on mute because I'm taking care of some things, okay?
Okie dokie.
All right.
Sandy?
Hey, Sandy.
Shalom, Sandy, Shanita.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. The class hasn't quite started yet. So give it a minute. Can somebody go back in the group and help Sam out? Get into the group, please. Get into the conference. Samuel.
Help who?
Samuel.
Samuel. Okay.
Thank you.
Shalom, Islam, Hotep, Namaste, Ashe, all in between, whatever, in between, all of it, none of it. How's everybody doing?
Shalom, Tiffany. I'm
Good,
great.
thank you.
Good. Shalom, shalom. All right, guys. Getting some messages over here. Some of our new people are coming into the group, so we're going to give them a second to get in here. So let me see who we got on the line. What's going on? All right, so Thomas, you made it in here. Sandy, I see that you made it in here. Jax, you're in here. Taj is always in here. Who's 914?
That's Shanita.
Okay, love. Who is 407?
Me, Rosanna.
Okay, 917.
Can you hear me? Sebastian.
All right, cool. All right, guys. So everybody should have had an opportunity to get into this folder, the nationality folder and everything. So we're going to go through a few things within here. We are also going to touch on some Constitution because that is vital. We need to know that there are two constitutions, which some of us already do know that. And we're also going to touch on some more LIBOR code and some treaties, okay? So before we get started, while we're waiting, if you guys have any questions, I know that y'all have been patient with me to hold them till today. So if you have any questions, go ahead. Let me know. No questions?
Hey Tiffany, this is Sandy. I don't have access to this Dropbox. I have one to the mentoring folder.
All right. Yeah, because I just got your documents, but there you go.
Thank you.
Anybody have an issue with the Dropbox? And when we finish this class, Sandy, I'll go ahead and import you into the other Dropbox folders as well. All right? All right, so everyone that is new, Sebastian, Sandy, Thomas, all right, y'all just came into the group a few days ago. The nationality folder is essentially where you want to start. As you can see, it goes by step. All right, guys? So the first thing, the name changes have been taking up a lot of time. So my recommendation now, with how everything is going, is to go ahead and do the name change before you do the authentication if you cannot do both at the same time. You can do both at the same time, okay? But I don't know. I'm not in your financial house, so I can't tell you what to do. But what I will say is that to go ahead and file that name change first. All right? Now, you would need that birth certificate. So if you haven't ordered your certified copy of your birth certificate, then you're going to have to wait on that. But if you have that certified copy or that certificate of live birth, is what some people like to refer to it as. But for the sake of an argument, the birth certificate that you need is the birth certificate that is on security paper that has the border of blue. Okay? That is the birth certificate that you need. That is the long form. There are two styles depending on your state. Some states only have a portrait version. Other states have the portrait version and the landscape version. What you want is the portrait version that is on security paper that has the border of blue. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So you would get your name changed and everything, and you would do that within your county. And this video right here, there's a couple of them. Okay. This is the public one. This is the private one. So you could definitely watch that nationality video, and it will instruct you on how to proceed with each one of these steps, okay? What is this doing over here? This is not supposed to be here. All right. So, yeah. And there you go with that. All right, guys. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about while we're getting into visiting these agencies. All right? There's nothing I want to stress that I always stress to all of the members that come in, you know, whether you've been here for a couple of weeks, whether you've been here an hour, all right? There's one thing that I like to stress, and that is belligerent conduct, all right? Taj is on the line, too, so I'm pretty sure he's going to come in with his comments on it as well, all right? So there is a particular procedure that you are doing, and there is a particular attitude on how you go about your transition in this process. And we are peaceful inhabitants of the land. So before you even leave this group, this conversation is bound to happen. Now, we did the video on Library Code, which you have these voters do. All right. And the video that goes along with that is in the YouTube folder so that you can follow along and see, okay? Now, when we talk about the Library Code, because we cannot ever stop talking about the Library Code, okay? Because the Library Code is what they use when they deem you as a foreign nation state being belligerent, all right? And this is their rules. This is the rules that they have set in place in case they catch you out there acting crazy. But you need to know what your rules are as well. And this is what brings you back to the treaties, all right? This one, for instance, what brings you back to the treaties, okay? So you need to know what it is. No matter how you want to identify. It doesn't matter which treaty you affiliate with. But if the ones that you are using, I use all of them because of the fact that I can. So in any event, you need to know how it is that you're supposed to approach certain situations, how you're supposed to prevent yourself in certain situations. All right? So we're going to go do a little quick overview of that. And I want you guys to go and watch that Library Code video. I want you to get very familiar with with the treaties folder that has a myriad of treaties inside of there for you to choose from, okay? So has anyone in here already seen that Library Code video?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay. Does anyone know what it is to be a belligerent military occupant?
Yeah, Tiffany, I was just getting ready to say we need to probably give them an example.
Go ahead, Taj.
For example, guys, there'll be a part in your process that you need to go down to the Social Security office. And you need to present a SF-181 and the SS-5, is it, Tiffany?
Yes.
And you'll get there, and depending on your attitude, this is spiritual too, guys. This is a divine movement. You know, don't go in there being stank and acting like the whole world is against you and the whole world owes you something, because they don't. This information has been available over 100 years, and take it as a blessing as that it found you. So we move in peace, guys. So don't be going in there talking about, I know y'all know what's going on, because half of them don't.
Yeah.
Really don't. And the thing that, Tiffany said last night with another group that we're bringing in, you catch more bees with honey than vinegar. So if you go in there with a stank attitude with people that really don't know what you're talking about, they will do something like maybe throw your paperwork in the garbage or shred it.
Or lie and say they did shred it.
Right. So it would behoove you to go in there, act like you know what you know. Matter of fact, do your homework before you go in there, so you can be confident on who you are.
Yeah.
And always remember, guys, always remember this. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
You know what? We're going to watch that video because, I'm sorry, Taj.
Go ahead.
We're going to watch that video tonight. That's exactly what we're going to do because since no one in here got a chance to watch it, why wait for tomorrow for what we can do today? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play. You get over here.
It's movie night, guys. Get your popcorn.
Okay, go ahead while I'm pulling it up, Taj, and say what you're got to say.
So anyway, guys, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I know you've all heard that term before. If it's not working out for you right then, just pick up your stuff, put your hat on, whatever you got, grab your coat, and come on out and give somebody a phone call. And guys, please, when you're calling us, can you do us a favor, pretty please, with sugar on top? Can you tell us what you said to these people step by step? Because I really hate having to be a detective, because depending on what you say is how they're going to react. Everything in this universe is cause and reaction.
Mm-hmm.
It is. If you go up there talking about something crazy because you have not studied, then don't expect them to help you.
And furthermore, when you're going into aboard these ships, okay, just like Taj was saying, we were raised with the defect of dissociative personality, okay? It all started with these elementary and public school, elementary, middle schools, high school institutions that taught us in sections, and that's not the way that we were supposed to be taught at all. So what we did is that we formed dissociative personalities because they taught us things in segments. Right? For instance, in school, you would go to math, then you would go to science, and then you would go to language arts, and then you would go to social studies, right? That's not how we were genetically built to learn. We were genetically built to learn on a degree or a level base, where if you understood math, you would understand science, and then you would understand, it would go into a flow like that. It was never supposed to be sectioned into pieces. And so as they taught you and trained you how to maneuver and accept that that was the way that you were supposed to be programmed, it made it very easy for you in the workforce to get put as, say, clerk of court and do the duties only specified for the clerk of court. But the clerk of court is not the deputy clerk of court. The clerk of court is not the head clerk of court, okay? So they're not aware and they're not brought into privileged information as if the head clerk would be, okay? So when we're going into these venues, and a lot of times when we're going into these venues, you need to realize that you're dealing with your own people, and they are in the same situation that you are in. Okay, because my SF 181 story, I'll tell it to you. This is my SF 181 story. And I hope that this would be your SF 181 story, or your name change story, or your registered mail story, okay? I hope that this would be set the standard and give you the direction on how these things should be handled. My SF 181 story is I had my SS5. I had my SS5 application already filled out. And my SF-181 paper already filled out. I had my name change order already on deck. All right? I had all that together. That's perfect presentation. So when I got to the Social Security office, I was happy. Why should I be mad? I was happy because now I'm in the know to change my race and ethnicity, which is my status quo. So I'm excited about that. I'm so excited about that the lady across the counter was like, why are you so excited? And I said, because I finally figured out who I am. And I declared my nationality. And now I'm here today to change my race and ethnicity, so I'm on proper status quo. She said, is that right? I'm so excited for you. And then throughout the conversation, she ended up declaring her nationality and she no longer has to work for that agency. So that was my SF-181 experience. And it should be your SF-181 experience, because no matter how you feel about these policy enforcers or public district agency workers, for you to maintain your minimum contact, you're always going to have a public medium of exchange. How you plan on buying a house with negotiable instruments, or buying a house, period, without having a real estate broker or a stock broker or a bonds broker that works in the public? That is your medium of exchange. So we kind of got to switch this perception around on how we're navigating and operating out here in commerce and in contracting. Okay?
Can I say this?
Sure.
From the start from the beginning of my process, I never had a problem either. That's because I always came in there with a smile on my face and ready to act like I got some sense and know who I am, guys. This is you really need to study. You really need to study yourself. You need to get your attitudes in check. Not saying that anybody on here has an attitude, because we all know that you're sweethearts. But, really go in there and act like you know who you are. The God with you. Act like you about your peace. From start to the beginning, I've never had a problem. Matter of fact, between the SF-181 and going to change my ethnicity on my pistol permit at the state police barracks, it took maybe all of 10 minutes. I kid you not. I kid you not. The state trooper at the window was like, "You're what?" I said, "Yeah, I'm white." He said, "Well, works for me. You can be whatever you want to be." Change my pistol permit, and I was on my way.
Exactly.
So these things are very possible. And again, if you run into some static, if you run into a difficult situation, don't sit there and fight with these people. Just come on out of there.
Yeah.
Come on out of there, and we regroup and we try it again. It's simple.
Right.
Yes.
Like, we keep our success, right, because this is the way that we choose to operate. There is not one person in the entire mentoring program since me and Prophet has established it that has followed what we instructed them to do with the templates that we provided that has been denied or deprived any of their constitutionally unalienable rights.
Oh, that brings up another point. Whatever thought process or whatever group that you came from, leave that outside. I'm not trying to diss nobody, but don't mix apples and oranges, because when you start bringing your old paperwork and your old thoughts into this thing, that's when problems happen, especially if you don't run it by myself or Tiffany. We're all for, kind of making your paperwork making it for your own individual situations, because everybody's life is different. It is.
Mm-hmm.
You all have different situations that are going to require different, processes, but the basis of everything is going to remain the same. So if you got any ideas of wanting to change things, before you do it, guys, please go over it with us. Please.
All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get into this video.
Tiffany, does everybody realize they're under martial law right now?
Can y'all hear that, by the way?
I can't hear
Yeah,
No.
You can hear it?
I can hear it.
All right, good. I just want to make sure.
I can't hear it.
I'm going to skip to the part, guys, because y'all can go back and watch all that. hear myself with my sound back.
At play. Any
know being private parties that criminal only exists on a local level and is actually the backup government. Because you can see it says this is a suspension by the occupied military authority of the criminal and civil law. On that area, there's another thing that the criminal law is subjected to military authority. And this is we're going to go ahead and as makes the hostile country. And hostile is hostile is unfriendly. If you are nervous about political causes you believe in, it is suggested that the other side of the argument is reasonable. So basically, you're not biased. So, or you're not in decent friendship if you're being hostile, and that's not the design. Because we are independent by politics that is part of hardship. So why do we have to fight for our friendship? That is alien to the government, Article 26. Command in general may cause the magistrate and civil country to take the oath of temporary allegiance or an oath of allegiance.
Welcome. This service is provided by freeconferencecall.com. There are 12 participants in the conference.
Over the district of the country and the hero of the world. All right, guys, I'm getting a lot of sound back, so I'm pretty sure y'all are hearing the same thing. So I'm just going to walk y'all through this because the weather is bad over here anyways. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
I can hear you.
All right, yeah, because I just logged in on my phone to see how the sound was, and I didn't like how it was, so I'm pretty sure that if I couldn't hear it, you guys couldn't hear it either.
Hello?
And just go through this. All right. I don't want any new friends. I'm good. Get out of here. All right. So, belligerent occupation, Labor Code, General Orders 100. Okay? So these are the main points here. So we're going to go through these particular articles. We're going to read together because we're interactive. Taj, you can go ahead and start, and you can go ahead and pass the hat when you're done.
Okay. Libra Code, main points, 7, 26, 36, 38, 44, 46, and 138. Article 2. Martial law does not the hostile occupation except by special proclamation ordered by the Commander-in-Chief or by special motion. The Treaty of Peace. Notice that concluding war when occupation of a place or territory continues beyond the conclusion as one of the conditions. Tiffany, I think the video's still running.
You think the video is still running?
Yeah.
There you go. Is that better?
Yeah. Article 3. Martial law in a hostile country consists in the suspension by the occupying military authority of the criminal and civil law and the domestic administration and government in the occupied place or territory. Oh. Okay. In the substitution of military rule as well as general laws as military necessity requires this suspension, substitution, or dictation. Hostile country. If something is hostile, it's unfriendly. If you are zealous, political qualifications, you will be as hostile to any suggestion that the other side of the argument is reasonable. Has everybody had the BIE list, the black extremists? Hello?
The BIE, black extremists.
Okay, there you go right there. There you go right there. Article 7. Martial law. Martial law pertains to property and to persons. Remember that word. Whether subjects of the enemy or aliens to that government. Article 26. Commanding generals may cause the magistrates and civil officers of a hostile country to take the oath of temporary allegiance or an oath of fidelity, i.e. fidelity.
Yeah.
Notorious government, and they may expel everyone who declines to do so. But whether they do so or not, the people and their civil officers owe strict obedience to them as they hold sway over the district of the country at the peril of their lives. Somebody can pick up Article 1.
Okay.
Pulling it up now.
All right. Should I pick somebody?
How about Sandy?
Okay.
Hold on, just made it in and getting situated.
Okay.
There's a lot of echo.
All right. Yeah, our weather is bad down here. We're in Tornado Alley, Alabama.
So I'm picking up at Article 31.
Yep, Article 31. Can you pick
Okay.
that up for me?
Sure.
Thank you.
A victorious army appropriates all public money, seizes all public movable property until further direction by its government. Okay.
Yeah.
And sequesters for its own benefit or of that of its government all the revenues of real property belonging to the hostile government or nation. The title to such real property remains in abeyance during military occupation and until the conquest is made complete.
All right, hold on 1 second. 1 second, Sandy, because we need to stop there so that we can understand what we just read. All right?
Okay.
Now, says a victorious army appropriates all public money, fiat, funds, seizes all public movable property. What is public movable property? Citizens, until further direction by its government, and sequesters for its, let me get over here. All right, there we go. And sequesters for its own benefit. All right? Usufructory. Usurping. All right? Government of all revenues of real property belonging to a hostile government or nation. The title to such real property remains in abeyance. What is abeyance?
Come on, guys. Tiffany gonna make that work tonight.
What is abeyance?
It's like a suspension or...
It says it right here on your screen.
Excuse me?
It says it right here on your screen.
Oh, the status of real estate ownership when no clear owner is present and must be determined.
Okay, so if real public money, if real public mover property remains in abeyance, right? It is the status where you have no clear owner, you have no title, you have no entitlement to the property because you yourself are public movable property because property cannot own property. We have an understanding of that?
So property is person?
Property, okay, yes, exactly. All public movable property. But we're going to round back to that. So go ahead and keep going with what you're reading. And then we'll loop back over to it so that you can get an overview.
Customer service.
Sequesters equal equity practice. A writ authorizing the taking into the custody of law of the real and personal estate or rents, issues, and profits of a defendant who is in contempt and holding the same until he shall comply. Abeyance, once again, the status of real estate ownership when no clear owner is present and must be determined. Probate, the act of or process of providing a will. The proof before an ordinary surrogate, register, or other duly authorized person that a document produced before him for official recognition and registration and alleged to be that last will and testament of a certain deceased person. Decedent estate. A person temporarily appointed by the probate court to collect rents, assets, interest, bills, receivable, etc. of a decedent's estate, and the act of the estate in all financial matters requiring immediate settlement. Such collector is usually appointed when there is protracted litigation as to the probate or the will, or as to the person to take out administration, and his duties cease as soon as an executor or administrator is qualified. I can't see the, yeah, okay. Article 36. If such works of art, libraries, collections, or instruments belonging to a hostile nation or government can be removed without injury, the ruler of the conquering state or nation may order them to be seized and removed for the benefit of said nation. The ultimate ownership is to be settled by ensuing treaty of peace. In no case shall they be sold or given away if captured by the armies of the United States, nor shall they ever be privately appropriated or wantonly destroyed or injured. What the usufruct you doing? In the civil law, the right of enjoying a thing, the property of which is vested in another, and to draw from the same all the profit, utility, and advantage which it may produce, provided it be without altering the substance of the thing.
Mm-hmm. Now, are we getting an understanding? There's 10 people on this phone call, and so all of us need to get an understanding on what we're reading here, all right? Because they're telling you exactly how, due to the well, let's move over here, okay? Back to the two constitutions, right? There are two constitutions for the United States. There's the Constitution of the United States of America, and then there's the Constitution for the United States of America. Okay? You got the Republic of the United States, and then you got the corporation known as the United States of America. Okay? And so this comes into the Act of 1871. So now we really need to get an understanding on what we're reading while we're reading these Libra codes. All right? Because they're telling you exactly what took place for you to then become movable public property. When you were put into an abeyance, when you were put into trust, and as long as we don't harm you, we can usufruct you and usurp you. All right, so we need to really get a clear understanding of what we're reading. All right.
So in other words, they're getting use of they're getting the benefits that the beneficiary should normally get.
Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead and finish that.
Okay, Article 22, Treaty of Peace and Friendship.
Class.
An American citizen shall die. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, okay. Article 22, Treaty of Peace and Friendship. If an American citizen shall die in our country and no will shall appear, the council shall take possession of his effects, and if there shall be no council, the effects shall be deposited into the hands of some person worthy of trust, until the party shall appear who has right to demand them. But if their heir to the person deceased be present, the property shall be delivered to him without interruption, and if a will shall appear, the property shall descend agreeable to that will, as soon as the council shall declare the validity thereof. Article 1, Section 8, Constitution, to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes, to establish an uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States, to coin money, regulate the value thereof, and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures, to provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States, to establish post offices and post roads, to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries, to constitute tribunals, military courts, inferior to the superior court, to determine and punish piracy and felonies committed on the high seas and offenses against the law of nations, to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water, to raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money that used shall be for a longer term than 2 years, to provide and maintain a navy, to make rules for government and regulation of the land and naval forces, to provide for calling forth the militia, to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repeal. Can you push it up? And repeal invasions. Profiteering. Large pocketing by a firm, the means of artificial sacredity, abuse for dominant position. Normally there are no government control over profiteering using public capacity for private gain. Article 38. Private property. Unless forfeited by crimes or by offenses of the owner, can be seized only by way of military necessity, for the support or other benefit of the Army of the United States. If the owner has not fled, the commanding officer will cause receipts to be given, which may serve the spoliated owner to obtain indemnity. Hang on a second, let me just read that. Okay. So, Article 38, is it saying that when they do take our property, they're supposed to account for it, because they're saying they're supposed to give us receipts.
Yes,
and
they're always going to put you on notice. They're always going to put you on notice. All of this is public information. That's why ignorance of the law is no excuse, because they've already put you on notice of everything that they're doing. So how you're going about handling your situations is putting you in a situation to act belligerent, so therefore they can use this against you.
Okay, so for example, when they say you buy a car, but the state really owns it and they come and repo the car, you're saying that it's okay for them to do that. They've given us a remedy? Or
no, that is not what I'm saying at all.
It's accounted for?
That's not what I'm saying at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they, in this case, I'm trying to understand this article here, it says they will give us receipts. Okay, what is an example of those receipts?
What is it? A receipt would be a receipt. Don't every time you purchase something you get a receipt? Okay, let's read it over. We're at Article 38, right? Okay. Private property, unless forfeited by crimes or by offenses of the owner. Let's stop there. Private property. What is private property? If you are in a trust, you would be inside of it. Therefore, you would be private property. So unless you forfeit your private capacity by not keeping minimum contact, and you forfeit it by crimes which now they have vested interest, okay, or by offenses of the owner can be seized only by way of military necessity, which is the police, okay, for the support or other benefits of the Army or of the United States. If the owner has not fled, the commanding officer will cause receipts to be given, which may serve to the spoliated owner to obtain indemnity. Okay, so if private property commits a crime, if I decide that I want to go rob a bank right now, right? Well, that is not keeping minimum contact, and that is obscuring against public policies. So by me doing this, they have the right by military necessity to come and seize me. Okay? But I'm still private property, so you have to give me a receipt and put me on notice for me to obtain indemnity for the crime that happened. Because once we get further into this, all crimes are commercial. And furthermore, once again, private property cannot be confiscated without due compensation. You know, this is why I say y'all all need to, on top of LIBOR code, get into your state constitution. Get into your state constitution and know what stipulates within your state, okay? Know what the stipulations are, right? This is the Constitution of Alabama 1901. You can go online. If you're in Florida, you need to know the Constitution of Florida. If you're in Connecticut, you need to know the Constitution of Connecticut. Because keep in mind, you're a nation state. When you declare your nationality, you are not a citizen. For instance, I am an American national, but I am on the record, all my bonds are in Alabama. My trusters are in Alabama, so I'm an Alabamian. So you need to know this Constitution so that you can protect your constitutionally unalienable rights, okay? Because if you are caught being belligerent and you have no way to defend yourself, well, you're going to debtor's prison. So this is what this piece right here is stipulating. They're not talking about mortgages and cars. They're talking about selling you as human capital.
Hey, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Does everybody understand that every so-called state has its own flag, therefore it's its own country?
Yeah, I know that.
That's why you have your own constitution.
Exactly. And so, you know, just a minute ago, I'm going to scroll back up to usufructuary, all right? And under the rules of usufructuary, I actually got that sitting on my desk. Let me pull it out for you, and I'll show you exactly where it is in my Constitution.
Yeah, it's just interesting once you know how to read it. Like you said, they're telling you in 38, I would have never read it from the standpoint that I'm the property. I think of property, especially when they say movable, as property, cars, houses, you know, material things. But I didn't think it was me.
Oh, it is you. It's always been you. It has always been you because you are the stock. You have a stock certificate. So it has always been here. I'm trying to pull this part up for you guys. Now, we did a previous class. Oh, God, I'm trying to find it on this long.
Hey, Tiffany,
Yeah.
while you trying to find that, I got a little fun fact. I went through my state's constitution, and I found a couple of laws.
Yeah.
And it's still in the books in Connecticut. It is unlawful to walk backwards after sunset.
I'm listening. You said what?
It is unlawful to walk backwards after sunset.
Are you serious?
I'm looking at it right
They
now.
don't want you howling at the moon?
and this one, you could be stopped by the police for biking over 65 miles per hour.
Wow.
It's illegal for any beautician to hum, whistle, or sing while working on a customer. So, guys, wherever your individual states is, go through your constitution.
All right. Back to private property, public property. Now, we're just in the Constitution of America, Constitution, Fifth Amendment. Fifth Amendment creates a number of rights relevant to both criminal and civil legal proceedings in criminal cases. The Fifth Amendment guarantees the right to a grand jury, forbids double jeopardy, and protects against self-incrimination. It also requires the due process of law by part of any proceeding that denies a citizen life, liberty, or property, and requires the government to compensate citizens or private property. Now listen, the government to compensate citizens when it takes private property for public use. All right? Now let's get down here. Now you see how they switch that around? You got to pay attention to the words. Because when you say, this is the actual amendment, the Fifth Amendment. And you say nothing about no citizens. All right? So we got to get out of yellow news what someone's perception of what things are. And you really need to read your actual Constitution and both of them. All right? Now, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, military occupation, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, and property without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Can I get a fee schedule? Y'all paying attention? Y'all, do y'all understand that one?
Yeah, we hear.
Y'all here? Y'all in the building? Because I'm hearing crickets. Y'all.
It's so shocking that you got to pause for a moment and just digest what you just said. But it's like you said, they're in black and white.
Yes, it is. It is in black and white, you know. This is why you cannot slumber on your rights. You got to know them 20 maxims of equity. You know what I mean? You got to know those 20 maxims of equity. Equity aids the vigilant, not those that slumber on their rights. All right? Now, profiteering, this is what they do. Okay? Now, you know that basically you're being traded on NASDAQ and all that fun stuff. You got a Treasury Direct account, and you can go to GMEI Utilities and put in your social. You'll just see all the people that are usurping you. All right? All the people that are committing usufructuary against you. Now, what does that even mean? What does it mean, usufructuary? It means to benefit from the thing without harming it. So as long as I came in your house and took, as long as I came into your public trust and took all your assets that you didn't even know about anyways, but as long as I did that without harming the actual thing, you're the thing, person, place, or thing, the noun, you're the thing, right? So as long as I didn't harm the thing, it's okay under the rules of usufructuary. Human capital and human trafficking is okay under the rules of usufructuary. And we could profiteer and have forced servitude and forced trusteeship and forced suretyship under the rules of usufructuary because you're human capital. Does that make sense? All right, so we're gonna go back and forth between this, but when we're talking in this Libra code, yeah, we're gonna get into some property. We were just talking about. They just told you where all your stuff was. They told you where it was. It's in abeyance. It's in a public trust. You have to be the one to come and claim it. But you can't because you don't have any status. Let's go back up. Right? Abeyance, the status of real estate. The status of real estate owners. Do you own your estate? Do you have status quo? Do you have a clear title of ownership of your birth certificate? Okay. Now, I know it's going to take a few for y'all to understand the legalese of it. But, you know, you'll get with it as we go on because this happens with every new class. It takes a minute. It takes at least a couple of weeks before you're like, oh, I got it. It makes sense because it's all new to you because a lot of us come from different walks of life. Okay? So you just have to know that we are playing, it's a spelling in the word, okay? So, you know, we just have to get reaccustomed and change our vantage view and our perception on how we're looking at particular words. Because it could be the word simple as of that could change the whole dynamic of what you're reading. The simple Constitution of the United States. The simple United States of America. We're talking about something completely different than the United States with the little u for the republic. We're talking about a republic, United States, and we're talking about a corporation, United States. And it's all off the basis of that word. Is it for or is it of? That one word changes the whole dynamic. So this is why it's imperative that we really read and we go through, because you have to know where you are right now in your transition so that you know how you need to maneuver as public movable property that they are trying to go ahead and make you forfeit. You see? So you have to know how to move about. And that's really the real reason why you have people in and out of debtor prison. You got a lot of high crime with these policies enforcers. It's business. It's not personal. It has nothing to do with the way you look. It's business, and it's a bankrupt corporation that wants to liquidate its equity, known as its human capital, which has stock. But in order for them to do that, they have to remove the first lien holder. You have first lien holder. You were born with it. You were born a secure party creditor. You were born an American national. But what they did is they appropriated your birth certificate. And they said, you're going to be a United States corporate citizen and you're going to be an American national. So that while you're running around with these statutory law and administrative law and these codes and regulations, we're hoping that you're going to violate public policy so that we can deem you belligerent so that you forfeit. Make sense? And now we have beneficial interest. We have vested interest in your estate. Because we already put you on notice with the presentment. Didn't they tell you that? We read that just a second ago. We're going to put you on notice with the presentment, or we're going to put you on notice with an indictment. You see? So either way it goes, no matter which way you're doing it, you're still a debt slave. Okay? No matter if they came, like Sister Sandy said, no matter if they came and repossessed your car, they gave you a presentment, they put you on notice that that was what they were about to do, right? Either way it goes, we're dealing with debt. And where we need to be is to be exempt or not imposed against with tax levies and liens, okay? But that is only allowed for those that operate in the private, that is set aside and out of the jurisdiction of the corporation known as the United States of America. Okay, you can't have your cake and eat it too, as they say. So now we're getting into, well, why I gotta put Taiwan or a non-Hague convention territory to authenticate my birth certificate? Can I get a new reader, please?
Somebody jump in.
I'll go down here and get somebody. Oh, we got Ms. Rosanna.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. 1907 Hague Convention, Article 55. The occupying state shall be regarded only as administrator and usufructuary of public buildings, real estate, forests, and agricultural estates belonging to the hostile state. And Amendment 14, note Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution was modified by Section 2 of the 14th Amendment. The validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned, but neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for the loss or emancipation of any slave, but all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void. An armistice is a formal agreement of warring parties to stop fighting. It is not necessarily the end of a war, since it may constitute only a cessation of hostilities, while an attempt is made to negotiate a lasting peace. It is derived from the Latin arma, meaning arms, as in weapons, and stitium, meaning a stopping.
Now, doesn't it sound like HJR 192? Has any of us read HJR 192?
I haven't.
Okay. We're going to get to that. It's all right. All right. Here you go, Miss Rosanna.
All right. Article 44. All wanton violence committed against persons in the invaded country, all destruction of property not commanded by the authorized officer, all robbery, all pillage or sacking, even after taking a place by main force, all rape, wounding, maiming, or killing of such inhabitants, are prohibited under the penalty of death or such other severe punishment as may seem adequate for the gravity of the offense. A soldier, officer, or private, in the act of committing such violence, in disobeying a superior ordering him to abstain from it, may be lawfully killed on the spot by such superior. Article 46. Neither officers nor soldiers are allowed to make use of their position or power in the hostile country for private gain, not even for commercial transactions otherwise legitimate.
Boom. Hold on. Wait, well, I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut you off. But we got to know what we're talking about here. Neither officers nor soldiers are allowed to make use of their position. Don't you come on my private property talking about what you want to enforce. Not gonna happen. Haven't y'all ever remembered when it was like you can't get arrested in your house? That's when people really understand the value of private property. You can't just come in here and take me out of my house. And furthermore, we all know that your car is an extension of your house, right? We should know that. So you and your policy enforcers or your soldiers or whatever militia you came from, you cannot come over into my private properties for private gain and try to usurp and usurbuck and profiteer over here in my jurisdiction for commercial transactions. Okay? All right, go ahead, Ms. Rosanna.
Offenses to the contrary of commissioned officers will be punished with cashiering or such other punishment as the nature of the offense may require. If by soldiers, they shall be punished according to the nature of the offense. Profiteering, large profit pocketing by a firm by the means of artificial scarcity, abuse for dominant position. Normally, there are no government control over profiteering. Article 138. The motives which induce the one or the other belligerent to conclude an armistice, whether it be expected to be preliminary to a treaty of peace or to prepare during the armistice for a more vigorous prosecution of the war, does in no way affect the character of the armistice itself. Article 139. An armistice is binding upon the belligerents from the day of the agreed commencement, but the officers of the armies are responsible from the day only when they receive official information of its existence. With Article 60, moreover, citizens who accompany an army for whatever purpose, such as sutlers, settlers, editors, or reporters of journals, or contractors, if captured, may be made prisoners of war and be detained as such. The monarch and members of the hostile reigning family, male or female, the chief and chief officers of the hostile government, its diplomatic agents, and all persons who are of particular and singular use and benefit to the hostile army or its government, R, if captured on belligerent grounds, and if unprovided with a safe conduct granted by the captor's government, prisoners of war. Belligerent in international law, a term used to designate either of two nations which are actually in a state of war with each other, as well as their allies actively cooperating, as distinguished from a nation which takes no part in the war and maintains a strict indifference as between the contending parties, called a neutral.
All right, let's get another. All right, here we go. We'll finish this little part right here, and then I'm going to let Taj come in because he had some things that he wanted to discuss as far as the LIBOR code and just knowing how to maintain your minimum contact while you're going through your transition. So, Roseanne, you could just finish up that paragraph, and he'll jump in.
Okay. Essential task, restore public order and safety. The first essential task is to restore public order and safety. Article 43 of the Hague Convention states, the authority of the legitimate power having in fact passed into the hands of the occupant, the latter shall take all measures in his power to restore and ensure as far as possible public order and safety, emphasis mine, while respecting, unless absolutely prevented, the laws and force of the country. 23. This task is significant for three reasons. First, it allows the peaceful inhabitants of an occupied territory to continue with their day-to-day lives. 24. Second, it allows the occupant and the local inhabitants to form an agreement to maximize their benefits to both. Third, this task is so broad that it encompasses many of the functions associated with government administration. From this specified task, there are 4 implied tasks that must be addressed in any occupation. These implied tasks are establishing a domestic security force, 2, providing for the collective protection, 3, administration and enforcement of local laws, 4, management of the courts, jails, and prisons. The analysis will address these tasks in further detail.
All right. Did anybody give me an example of being belligerent? Anybody?
When a police officer stops you and you say, well, I don't have to give you this and I don't have to give you that.
Okay.
And you're just approaching the situation in a hostile way.
Okay. During this process, what are some examples that you think that you guys can possibly do as you're going through this process? Can anybody give me an example? Anybody know?
Could you repeat the question?
Could anybody give me an example of what would deem being hostile and belligerent as you're going through this nationality process? Can some of you guys give me some examples that you might think would be considered belligerent and hostile?
Like you said, if you're presenting your paperwork and you take an arrogant approach with the person that you're dealing with and maybe feeling that they should know what you're doing when in fact they don't.
Right. Exactly. I'm going to tell you guys, when you start dealing with the people down at the recorder's office, it would be nice to be friends with them. Try to be cool with them as much as possible, because those are the ones, man. They're putting your paperwork on file, and they can make your life hard for you, and it don't even have to be that way. Also, does everybody still realize that we're under martial law? Because I see on Facebook a lot of people talk about martial laws coming. Y'all better be careful. Do you realize we've been under martial law ever since Abraham Lincoln was assassinated? Do y'all realize that?
Yes.
And I always assumed it was before then.
No, that's when we were under martial law.
Okay.
When you guys have bad weather and they come across the TV and they say they give that public announcement, that's martial law.
Right.
That is a form of martial law. Martial law also is when they jack the prices up in taxes, and it's hurting you financially. You know, making you pay more for goods and services. That's martial law too.
And gentrification.
Kinda, sorta, maybe. Okay, who has everybody seen that movie Glory?
Yeah.
Do you remember when the Confederate Army was coming through South Carolina, and they were taking goods and from out the houses, and they just burn it? Well, they had the Negro Army come through and just pilfer everything.
Yeah.
That is. Do you know the Army? The military has the right to do that still to this day.
No, I didn't know that.
They can do that. They can come in your house, take your stuff, and you ain't got nothing to say. Matter of fact, President Trump just signed a bill about 3 months ago in the DMV area, okaying it for you don't need a warrant to come into people's houses, and they backed it by the Washington D.C. Transit. So that are in the area of Washington D.C. Transit, the Metro Transit. They're all under that bill that you can come in your house and they don't need a warrant. So it's important.
Yeah, it's called a no-knock warrant.
There you go. Thank you.
It's called a no-knock warrant. Because it's as simple as it gets. Property cannot own property. Okay? So this is really the consensus of knowing where you are and what limitations you have on yourself while you're redeeming yourself. Okay? Like you're not going to hear nobody out of Lamu and Mexham tell you some of the most belligerent procedures that I have witnessed while operating in this capacity. Okay? Keep in mind, even though we have a bit of information, till you finish, you still a 14th Amendment citizen. You're still subjected to the Organic Act of 1971. All right? We're still operating with trading with the Enemy Act. All right? So this is why we do things the way that we do them, so that when you are traveling and you're going into these agencies, you are unmolested, you are not imposed against, you are not infringed against.
Ooh.
All right?
Hey, Tiffany.
Yes, sir.
Can you go over what those little gold fringes over the Star-Spangled Banner means? Because those are little keys that they need to be aware of as they travel across the land.
You said the fringe. What are you talking about? The fringes on the flag?
Yeah, the fringes on the Star-Spangled Banner.
Now, there's multiple flags. That's why on a lot of my documents, you'll see me with the civil flag, okay? Now, This is a maritime flag, all right? You'll see this when you're in a commercial venue, you know, in the courthouse, in the bank, in any type of commercial affair. And this is when you know which constitution you're acting under. This is when you see the flag, like, now they try to fool you how they hang it. All right? This flag with yellow fringes represents no nation and no constitution. This flag represents the Constitution of the 1971, which was the formation of District of Columbia, which is the Constitution for the Corporation of the United States. This is the United States flag, which is the, let me get over here, 1791. Let me make sure. I've been reading so many things, I just need to make sure that's what I'm talking about. But yeah. I just had that guy pulled up too. Alright? Because there are two different, so you need to know. Now let me pull this up for you so you can also see. How there are multiples. We can just go right here. Alright? Now, civil flag. Civil flag is a version of the national flag that is flown by civilians on non-governmental installations or craft. The use of civil flags was more common in the past to denote buildings or ships not manned by the military. Okay? Now let's get back over here. Military, commercial, militia. Now, any questions about that? And like Taj was talking about earlier, you have your official state flag, and then you have your official corporated state flag. Now, when you see your state flag like this, they are operating off of being a district of the District of Columbia, okay? Because it's quite backwards, because we live in a backwards world, okay? Counties are countries, and states are nations. Now, the way that we grew up thinking was that the state was actually in the country. But no, it's actually the country that is in the state. All right? So, is there anything else you wanted to add to that, Taj?
You should be aware that also in the schools too. In the public, they're in the public schools.
Mm-hmm.
They might be in some religious organizations.
Mm-hmm.
That might lead to the 501c3 business and all of that stuff.
Yep. Now, know your state constitution, all right? Because when you fall under and declare your nationality, this is where you end up. That all men are equally free and dependent. That they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Okay? They never said, hey, the Constitution is going to give us life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They never said, hey, having a nationality card is going to give me life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What they said was that they are endowed by the Creator with unalienable rights. Meaning you need to be under natural law, not public law, under divine law, and that is where your unalienable rights are. You cannot worship two masters. You have to follow the law of the land, whatever that is to you. Okay? So that is first. And that is separating yourself from this corporate, this corporate conglomerate of statutory, administrative policies, regulations, and procedures. Because we're not here for that. We're here for life, liberty, in the pursuit of happiness. And I'm a beneficiary. So says my birth certificate right here. So I'm going to need you, trustee, to do your trustee obligations and discharge my debt, because I'm exempt against that, okay? I'm exempt against that. We need to discharge all of that, okay? So get very familiar with whatever state you're in with that state constitution. Now, I'm not saying, for the record, no. The Constitution is not for you to validate who you are.
Come on.
The Constitution is to hold these particular officials that took an oath to this Constitution on how they were going to handle people that have unalienable rights. The Constitution is not for you. The Constitution is for you to remind them you can't do all of that. Okay? And that goes for, because the Constitution is then codified down into it's codified down into codes and regulations, and then codified down into policies and statutories, and next thing you know, they're like, due to public ordinance, CRZ, whatever. That has nothing to do with me, because I don't have to subject to that. I don't consent to that. That's nothing that I have to do. Okay, so you just want to go ahead and move all of that and you completely to a whole different venue, and that is what you're doing. Is you're actually changing your venue. You're doing a judicial removal. Okay? So, any questions on LIBOR code? Generals 100. That's the quietest class I ever had. Like,
I have a question. Is the LIBOR code, is this the full document right here?
No. I put the link down here. This is the full one. So when you go into the Dropbox, into the class documents, into the document, it has a hyperlink, and here it is. This is the full one. Because they say they got 100, but they've been adding to it. You know, we get into the booty. We get into prisoners of war. This is very important that you know, because once you know the art of war, you can't be conquered.
You still there?
I'm here.
Okay.
All right, but let me put this down. Now, let's go. You need to check out this Black's Law. We might go into that next week. We'll see. Definitely get into those 20 equities. You need to know those 10. You need to know the 20 maxims of equity. You need to know where your status is as far as Black's Law Dictionary. Where are you? Well, what happened to you? Okay? What happened to all of your things? What are you titled? And where do you go from there? Okay? Because just how we can break it down in the LIBOR code on your current situation, we can break it down in the Black's Law. Because it's all parables and it's all legalese and it's all a word game. It's by word after by word. All right, guys? So let's get over here and see if y'all have any questions as far as where you are in your process. So I'm going to go ahead, since y'all like to be quiet, I'm going to go ahead and pull you on up and see what's going on with you in your current situation. I know some of us, Anijah, Rosanna, Anijah, you and Samael, first class was last Saturday, wasn't it, right? I'm unmuting you.
Yes, last week.
Yeah. So where have you guys gotten in the nationality process so far?
Still waiting on my birth certificate. Hopefully it'll be here Monday. And as soon as it get here, we're going straight to Mississippi. Oh, well, we did our bond.
Our registry mail.
You did your what?
Your
registered mail? Okay. Yeah. Cool. Super cool. Okay, so you're waiting on yours to come. You got yours from, what was it? Is it Georgia?
Mississippi.
I'm talking about your wife.
No, mine is here in Oklahoma. I already have mine, and it's been authenticated by the state. We're just trying to wait on him so we can send it off federally and do our name change.
I actually
cool.
Go down there and do it.
Oh, see, I was going, how far? That's a distance, huh? Hey. Okay.
It's like 8 hours, yeah.
Road trip to freedom.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
I can feel it. You know, I had a lot of people that didn't want to wait on their federal birth certificates. One of the sisters in the group was saying that she had took some to go get federally authenticated the other day. And I know that people, they were like, nope, I'm not waiting, especially if they're close. They drove all the way to D.C. for their federally authenticated birth certificate. Like, you got to make an appointment, and you get there, and then you get out. I think now it's something about come back the next day, but they were for real about getting it done. So, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know, maybe when we get bigger to the point to where we can hand out scholarships, we could do like RVs where everybody just goes and authenticates their birth certificate state by state, then we all go to the federal. Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah, that'd be so cool. All right, Rosanna.
Hello?
Hey.
Yes. Hi. Yes. So I sent it out to the state, and I'm waiting for that to come back. They had given me some issue because I had already ordered it from the city, and in the instructions on the website, it's not clear. You know, it's like real fuzzy as far as manually sending it back up to them to get the county apostille.
Okay.
So wound up sending it, they sent it back, and I just called them and I said, okay, well, how much?
Yeah.
Okay, $3, okay. Sent it. And so I got it back, and now it's not. And I did my fingerprinting too.
Perfect. That's good. Okay. J. Rue and Miss Terrell. Let me scroll down here. You might be on mute. Yep. You there? Don't you not want to come off mute? All right. Thomas.
Yes.
All right. So have you had a chance to go into the nationality process and see basically how simple it is to do it?
Yeah, I've actually looked through it. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I'm always double checking.
That's what you should do. You should question my question, question Taj's questions, question your own questions. Yep. So definitely, it's pretty straightforward and everything. But yeah, you do want to make sure that you have an understanding on what it is. So that's why I put a lot of these are all of the class nationality video webinars that we've done. That's why I'm not going to go through it again, because there's already 3 videos. Actually, yeah. There's one at the top there, one down here, one down there. It's 3 videos for you where we went in depth on how to operate and handle all of these tasks. All right? First task should be that name change and that birth certificate authentication. You can knock them out at the same time. If you've already got that filed and you've already sent off for that birth certificate, you can go down here and do that UCC 11 and get a certified search of your birth certificate name in your birth certificate state. You can go to the post office and get your registered mail number. All you do, write you out a letter, put you some documents in it, mail it to yourself, registered mail, declare a value of over $10,000.
Okay.
All right, so those are all things that you guys can get done before your name change. And plug this guy in. Before your name change comes back, because everything else has to wait until that is over. Okay? But all those things that I just mentioned, you can go ahead and knock out the park and get that over with. All right. Cool.
Yes, that's what I need to do now.
All right. So is everybody else good?
Tiffany, I just have a question on.
Please have some questions.
Yeah, it's on married women like myself. My birth certificate is in my maiden name. So what am I changing?
Oh, what are you changing?
Yeah, when you say change your name.
Well, your name is going to stay the same as your name is now. All you're doing is annexing into one of the titles. Do you want to be El, Day, Bay, Ali? So if your name is Mary Jane Scott, then you would change your name to Mary Jane Scott L, or Mary Jane Scott Day, or Mary Jane Scott Ali, whichever one of the titles of nobility from the family of nations that you have found or that you resonate with.
Okay. Am I doing that for my birth name or my current legal married name?
Your birth name. Now, if you're married, you can. Because of the fact that you're married, you're automatically pulled into your husband's trust. But you still want to claim that birth certificate. That is really the point of getting married. Because you become a ward of your husband's estate. That's why you take on his name. And that's why people don't know this, but when you get married, you're not just supposed to change your social, you're supposed to change your birth certificate so that it reflects that was your name the whole time and that you are a dependent of your husband.
So okay. So
like I never got that part. Like I never got that part, how women get married and they'll change their social because that's what you use for commerce. But they never changed the birth certificate.
Right. Okay.
Why is that?
Just we were clueless about this whole process.
Yeah, you know, they really broke it down, you know, and everything. But what was the next thing you were going to ask?
No, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't leaving my original trust or the trust from my birth certificate, which is, like you said, still in my maiden name.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm doing the name change, I'm actually writing the document right now or modifying your document with my name, but I have my married name and the title.
Right. So if you want to keep your married name, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I did that. All right? I've been married, you know, quite a few times. So when I did my nationality, I didn't go back to my original name because women don't have to do that. You know, and that's just the way that it's set up, that it's basically easier for us to maneuver. All right? You could keep your married name. You would have to get a marital trust and things of that because, you know, you're rescinding contracts. Okay? Which is fine. But if you want to keep your married name, if your married name is, I don't know, Scott again, Banaco, well, I'd keep that too. That's pretty. Yeah, so you can keep it because when you do your UCC1 and you create your trust, you're going to be claiming it anyways, all right?
Okay.
So it's quite a few ways you can do it. If you want that name, because there's 2 name changes, all right? Keep in mind that this name change is for your secure party creditor, okay? Not your foreign national. 2 different people, because you're going to be operating in commerce. No matter which way about it, you're operating in commerce, right? But you also can operate from a foreign capacity. So if you wanted to go back to that birth certificate name and use that name in commerce and be known privately with the marital trust that you and your husband have as, did you say, Danacos?
Fanacos.
Like with a P? P?
With an F. F is in French.
Fanacos. Okay. So Fanacos, if you want to be known that in the private, you can do it that way too. So it's synonymous how you want to do it. You know.
Okay. Well, Fanacos is already in the public, right?
Huh?
My married name is already public.
Yeah.
In terms of my straw man, right?
All of it is public.
Okay.
You know, I operate as a trinity.
And what does that mean, as a trinity?
There's 3 of me.
Okay.
And I get to pick and choose which hat I want to wear for the day. Because they're, you know, except for the living soul me, the other 2 are corporations.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
But you want to be secured in commerce while you're operating that corporation.
Right.
Now, when it comes to men, nope, you better take you shouldn't have another name anyways, unless you got nationality attached to it. And they're not so friendly when it comes to you guys, okay? A woman could show up with 20 entities, and her paperwork will get done faster than yours with no confusion because you're on Mother Earth, okay? And it just doesn't get any more simple. And that's just not me being a woman talking crazy. I'm just being real with you, all right? So, guys, the first name change is your birth certificate name, annexing back into the family of nations, all right? And then the private name, which is the one you do not operate in commerce, the one that does not run around with fiat currency, that will be your second name change. And it will not be a public, you will not be going to a public venue to petition for it, okay? It'll be a notice and a proclamation, but first you have to redeem the estate out of probate because you're being probated on, some people on probation, but others, you're just being liquidated because you don't have any free will in testamentary trust. All right? So you want to make sure that you attach that affidavit. Now, let me go here while this is on my mind. Okay. Let's go to the name change attachment. Because, somebody's already been in here. Well, I guess it was you, Sandy. You guys got to download, the documents externally on your computer so that they don't pop up in the Dropbox because you don't want everybody in your business, okay? All right. We got James in here too, apparently. All right. Now, on mine, there were some things that I changed around because it was not conducive to my lifestyle. Okay? There were some things on here that I added on to. If there are some other Intoctinin or Aborigines, let's just use the word Aborigines for right now because that's pretty much what's on here. I put Olmecs, which was changed, all right? Olmecs, original mound builders, all right? Taíno, the Latinos, the Arawak, okay? The Lenape or the Arawak?
Taíno and Arawak.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen your picture. So if there are some things in here that does not apply to you, that does not resonate with you, this is general. A lot of this did not resonate with me, so I did not keep it in here, okay? But this is just for you to see, the layout of what it should be, okay? Now, down here, I particularly didn't put all of this that's in the last section, okay? I put my spiritual and ancestral customs and things of that nature. So make it conducive to you, but keep the principles of what you're doing, okay? Now, for you that want to know about the titles, if you read this document, go over and read this, okay? And it'll go into some of the titles and things of that sort, okay? So, just make sure that you're putting in here that you're proclaiming your nationality and that you're follow under, rather it be, if you want to call it, your custom spiritual heritage or your religious customary beliefs, however you want to do it, okay? The same thing applies. Rather you're operating in a spiritual realm with spirituality, or you're operating in a religion realm, and that they're still protected by the Constitution under divine law, under unalienable rights of the Creator, okay? Now, I don't think that there's one soul in here that thinks that there's nothing out there. But whatever. So you just want to make sure that you keep the principles on the layouts. But if it's not conducive to you, if some of your people aren't on here, put them in there. and then you could build from there, okay? Now, right down here, so let all my lawful and legal documentation must reflect my true family name and my customary and spiritual affiliation. Thank you. So mote it be, so it be, however you want to sign off, okay? Make sure you date the jurat for the day that you're getting that page notarized, okay? And always, I don't know, someone's been in here editing and stuff. This notary is supposed to be on the same page, okay? So make sure when you download it, put the notary back on the same page, and the jurat was on top of that. So it was the jurat on top of the notary. I'll have my administrator come in here and redo it tomorrow and take the edit off for the Dropbox. But make sure on this page that the notary and the jurat is on one page, okay? Let's see. Now, any questions about, let's see, everybody right now should be on authentication and name change. You're going to be there for a little while. So, any questions on the request forms for authentication or the request forms for federal authentication or your particular state's petition for name change? Any questions on that before we sign off?
Hey, Tiffany.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, can you go back to that form just for a quick second?
Sure.
Can you explain to them, this is the part you don't agree to be a more or whatever you want to be. This is the part where you can state that whatever you decide you want to be is what you are.
There you go. Be who you want to be. Be all you can be. Just don't be a military occupant, okay?
Right.
Be what you want to be. That's why I say, you know, we are not all the same people, okay? We're not. We're all same in spirit, right? But when it comes down to this human stuff, some people are just hybrids. Some people, you know, there's no way of you even saying that you are indigenous. It's just that way. You know what I mean? Some people don't want to identify with certain territories, and they don't have to. That's why you got free will and testimony, okay? So you have to do your own research, but what I will tell you is that if you want to bring yourself back to the family of nations, which would make you an American national, you need to have a title of nobility. So more just means the same thing as American, that you are a copper-colored person, okay? So there's nothing to fight about. There's nothing to argue about. Do your own due diligence, because your story is nothing to prove to nobody but yourself. Because, okay, it's your story. Nobody else's but your story. So you need to figure out where you fit in this equation. Or are you even foreign? Or is it possible that you are foreign to America and this isn't your land? That's something that you need to research and find out, okay? But like I say, interchangeable, ancient American, okay, Aztec, Mayan. I think we pretty much kind of covered the Autochthonous and the Aborigines in there. Todd, do you see any?
I just want you to clear it up, because sometimes we run into people that don't want to be this and don't want to be that, and that's fine, but you don't have to push it on everybody else. You're free to choose.
Yeah. Go ahead. I was just commenting.
Right. You're free to choose exactly what you want to be. And, you know, just as you're choosing to be what you want to be respectful of the next person. Be respectful. That's the same at the day. At the end of the day, we're all wanting the same thing. And it's possible that you might be able to post the meanings of those titles of nobility and just in case, this new class is having.
I'm not posting nothing. Go read. Go read Resolution 75. Go read some of these treaties in that treaties folder. I don't know. You need to know who you are. No man can give you freedom. You have to give it to yourself, and you have to proclaim it with your own mouth.
Sorry, guys.
Because we're talking about memes. Will you tell me in what resolution, in what constitution, in what treaty they say, we are now annexing in memes, y'all? No. Go read and figure out which one of these Intoctanen people you belong to and what is their original title. Shoot, that's all you got to do. We can't sit here and go back and forth and this, that, and that. It doesn't even matter. Shoot, I don't even want to be a human. So tell me what I should call myself now.
I told you I'm a gingerbread man. That's what I am. I'm a gingerbread man.
You the what?
Gingerbread man. I ain't even human no more.
I'm not, because, humans go to the humane society. That's what they do there. I'm spirit. So as long as I know that I was spirit before I became a human, and before my human decided that it had to identify with the world and decided it needed to be familiar and create itself a family so that they could commune in a community to communicate, I was spirit.
That's why I don't fight.
But in any event, we need to learn how to establish a way of living in harmony with divine and natural law of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice according to our ancestral customs and usages. Can we all get that? No more belligerent military occupation. All right, guys. It's been real. We will adjourn next Saturday once everyone gets an opportunity to really go through that process and everything. By next Saturday, everybody should have their name changes filed and be sending off for their birth certificate so that we can move on past that step. Please watch the nationality videos, all right? So, when we come back together, everyone knows, what's going on, and we can commune.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, children all over the earth, on Sundays, Tiffany and Taj are off duty.
And Taquana.
Do not email. Do not text me anything 3:30, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning pertaining about nothing unless you've been kidnapped. Don't call me. I love y'all like
unless it's a national emergency.
You've been kidnapped. That's something different. But if you got general questions, go into the chat room. You guys can help each other out. You can help the newer class might be able to help you. But guys, we are off on Sundays. Please. And thank you.
Peace, love, and light.
Hey, thank you guys.
You are so welcome. I'm glad that you guys came out and everything. Y'all got my number. You got Taj's number. The easiest way to get a response, because you have people in your group that is on it already. All right? So any concerns, any comments, we're here for you to walk you through it. So don't be shy. Don't be a fly on the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, till next Saturday. Well, Monday probably. So, y'all take it easy and shalom.
All right.
Thank you guys so much. Bye.
You're welcome.